Hey everyone, welcome to the GMG review. It's part 5 of Forces of Fantasy, the new installment of Warhammer, the Old World's army lists for all the good factions. They're going to be in this edition of the game. And a lovely homage to this classic John Blanche illustrated first edition Warhammer supplement. Now we're taking a look at the High Elves. This is almost the greatest hits of High Elf units. A couple of End Times units snuck in here in the army list, which is the Phoenixes. But for the most part, it's old classics. Now the goal behind these reviews today is to prepare people who want to build these armies with like information about the base sizes, a general overview of what everything does, what the army special rules are. I'm not going to do like a line by line or all the point values. Like we're gonna talk about what you need to know to go look through your collection. Either get everything re-movement trade if you want to have it be compliant with those sizes, or if you don't care, just generally what your army's going to do if you still have one of these armies. Or if you have a whole bunch of models kicking around, what bases you might want to find to base this up and paint it up for something new. So, High Elf realms, the hosts of Ulthuan. The High Elves having, of course, at this period taught a little bit of magic to the humans. They can ally with them. They're a bit uneasy, though, with the Empire of Man, but they'll freely ally with the Knights of Bretonnia and the Wood Elf realms. You can use a standard composition here for all of your army, and there's no required units, although there are a few restrictions. So 50% on characters, 25% at least on core, 50 on special, 25 on rare. 20% of your army can be mercenaries, up to 25 can be made in an allied contingent. So remember, an allied contingent is like a mini army inside an army, and as I said earlier, you can have uneasy allies of the Empire of Man, you treat them all as levies, but you can just be allies straight up with the Kingdom of Bretonnia and the Wood Elves. So, restrictions, 0 to 1 Elf Prince or Archmage per 1,000 points, one or the other, for every 1,000 point of army that you have. 0 to 1 Dragon Mage or Handmaiden of the Everqueen per 1,000 points, and then the rest of your characters can be made up of High Elf Nobles and Mages. No required core unit, so at least 25% of your army must be spent on core, but you can choose freely from Elven Spearmen, Elven Archers, Lothran Seaguard, Illyrian Reavers, and Silverhelms, and if your general is a Handmaiden of the Everqueen, 0 to 1 units of Sisters of Avalorn can be taken as a core choice. Special, it's White Lions, Swordmasters, Phoenix Guards, Shadow Warriors, and Tyrannok Chariots. 0 to 1 unit of Dragon Princes of Calidor per 1,000 points. And if your general has the Kracian Hunter's Elven Honor, because you got honors back, 0 to 1 Lion Chariot of Krace can be taken as a special choice. And if your general is a Seaguard Elven Honor, 0 to 1 Lothran Skycutter can be taken as a special choice. 25% can be on Sisters of Avalorn, Lion Chariots, and Lothran Skycutters. And then always rare is going to be 0 to 1 Flamespire or Frostheart Phoenix per 1,000 points, not counting the character mount ones. 0 to 2 Great Eagles per 1,000 points, and 0 to 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000 points. So still an infantry, heavy, cavalry like army with some chariots, and only up to 2 bolt throwers, 4 if you're taking a 2,000 point army. 25 points to make a BSB out of a noble, and that's it. So let's jump into the army special rules before we do the units, because it's going to kind of qualify everything, and I found doing this that makes things make more sense. And we'll look at Elven Honors as well. So, Arrows of Isha. All of your bows and long bows and war bows and short bows are AP 1 and have armor bane 1. So they go to AP -2 if they roll a 6 to hit naturally. Blessing of Azurian, a model with this special has a 5+ ward against any wound suffered that were caused by flaming attacks. Dragon Armor has a 6+ ward save against any wound, and wizards can wear it with no penalty. Elven Reflexes, this is the same as the Wood Elves had. A model with this special rule, but not its mount, has a +1 to its initiative in the first round of combat to a maximum of 10. Ithilmor Armor and Barding can reroll 1s when making dangerous terrain tests. In addition, you can be a wizard and wear this with no penalty. Ithilmor Weapons. When engaged in combat, a model with this special rule that's fighting with a hand weapon can reroll any rolls to hit of a natural 1. And this rule only applies to a single non-magical hand weapon and does not apply to a model's mount. If you use a magic weapon or any other sort of weapon, this stops applying. Lilith's Blessing. Once per turn, a model with this special can reroll a failed casting roll. And a Lion Cloak gives you +1 armor value against non-magical shooting attacks to a maximum of 2+. Martial Prowess, you can make supporting attacks to its flank or rear as well as the front. And Valor of the Ages, a unit with a special rule can roll any failed panic test caused by heavy casualties or being fled through by friendly units. So those are your core special rules. And then honors, these are like special skills you can buy for your heroes. Lore Master for 35 points. For one of your lords, if they become a Lore Master, they can't be mounted. They're a level 1 wizard that gets a randomly generated spell for either battle magic, elementalism, high magic, or illusion. So you have 4 schools of magic you can pick from. May be equipped with a Sword of Hoth, which is one of your equipment choices for no additional point cost. And if so, they may take any additional non-magic weapons. And they gain Ithilmar armor, Liliath's Blessing, and the Lore of Safri special rule. So you can change your spell for a signature Lore of Safri spell if you want. Now, a Sword of Hoth is in the equipment section for these guys, which is, again, probably important we talk about first. It is +2 strength, -2 AP. It's a magical attack, requires 2 hands, but it does not strike last, so you get to go at full initiative. You also have access to a Bow of Avalorn. It's a magical attack, armor bane 1, volley fire, 30-inch range. Ceremonial halberds, some models have. They are strength +1, AP -1, armor bane 1, fight in an extra rank. Magic attacks and requires 2 hands. But you cannot make a supporting attack when you charge. And then a Kracian Greatblade, which is the White Lion's like great weapon. Its strike last, requires 2 hands, but it's +2 strength and -3 AP. So cool equipment that only the elves get. All right, so your Lord, you can kind of customize this guy however you want as per normal. He's always got Ithilmar weapons, Strike First, and Valor of Ages. Note that the special does not apply to the model's mount though with Strike First. And not everyone has Strike First in this army, as used to be the case with the elves. So weapon skill 7, blow skill 7, they are still glassy glass cannons with toughness 3. 3 wounds, initiative 6, and 4 attacks with leadership 10. They're all on 25 by 25s. This is a 25 by 25 army for the most part, with the exception being your monsters, like the dragon is on 60 by 100. And your character mounts, your elven steeds are all 30 by 60s, as are the barded elven steeds. Ulthuan militia, so like all your foot guys are all 25 by 25. Nothing's on a bigger base than that. Your Illyrian Reavers are 30 by 60, Silver Helms are 30 by 60, Dragon Princes are 30 by 60. Your Chariots are 50 by 100, so the old chariot size. And then Lothran Skycutters are 60 by 100. Griffins are 50 by 50, so if you've got that Island of Blood Griffin, which is super cool, and I wish I still had, because I gave all of them to Owen. I wish I still had them. I think he got rid of them when he sold his old Lothran army. And then your Phoenixes are on 50 by 100s. I think that's it. Great Eagles are 50 by 50, and your Bolt Throwers are also 50 by 50. So High Elf Mages, they can take Battle Magic, Elementalism, High Magic, and Illusion. They can be mounted. You can make them level 3s into a level 4, or a level 1 to a level 2. They've all got Elven Reflexes, Ithilmar weapons, Liliath's Blessing, Lore of Safri, and Valor of Ages. Oh, and you can take full plate now on a High Elf, which I think is super cool, for 6 points. And a Bow of Avalorn as well. Yeah, honors, 100 points of magic items or 50 for a prince for both that and the level 1, level 2, and level 3, level 4 mages. You can take a Dragon Mage. It's on a 60 by 100. Hand opens and light armor, Wicked Claws, Dragon Fire, and Draconic Scales that count as full plate armor. You get a Dragon Mage with a combined profile. You get weapon skill with skill 4 on your mage himself, toughness 5, 6 wounds, initiative 5, and 2 attacks. The Sun Dragon, it's the smallest level of dragon. Weapon skill 5 with strength 5 and 4 attacks, initiative 4. He's a level 1 wizard with battle magic or elementalism, and you can buy level 2 for 30 points and up to 50 points of magic items. He has a strength 4 breath weapon, Blessings of Azurian, Close Order, Dragon Armor, Elven Reflexes, Fly 10, Impetuous, Ithilmar weapons, Large Target, Liliath's Blessing, Lore of Safri, Stomp Attack D6, Swift Stride, Terror, and Valor of the Ages. A very cool, relatively inexpensive mage and dragon combo as it's always been. Handmaidens of the Everqueen, this is your character model. Handmaiden Spear, Bow of Avalorn, and light armor. You can buy heavy armor. You can take a Horn of Isha. The Horn of Isha is a single use during the command sub-phase of the start of turn. This character can attempt to use the Horn of Isha to make a leadership test. And if it's passed, into the next start of turn sub-phase, this character and any unit they have joined gains a +1 modifier to both hit and wound rolls. And then it's cool Spear. It's just a -1 AP user strength, but during a turn which it's charged, a model with the Handmaiden Spear gains +1 to its initiative against the charging units. When it was charged, sorry. So on top of Actually, sorry, they do not have Elven reflexes. You just get a +1 bonus when you charge, but you're initiative 6 already, so you're going before pretty much everything in the game. And then your mounts, Elven Steeds, Barded Elven Steeds, Tyrnok Chariots, Griffins, Moondragons, Star Dragons, which are for princes only, and then Great Eagles as well. And then an Archmage or Mage can have a Moondragon or Star Dragon, if it's an Archmage, and then Barded Elven Steeds, and Great Eagles for everybody else. And then alternatively, a Prince, Noble, Archmage, or Mage with the Creation Hunter's Honor can take a Lion Chariot, a Seaguard Honor can take a Lothern Skycutter, a Blood of Calidor Elven Honor can take a Sun Dragon, and an Anointed of Azurian can take a Phoenix of either type. All right, so the first unit entry now is Ulthuan Militia, and that includes both the Spearman and the Archer. Spearmen have hand weapons, thrusting spears, light armor, and shields. Elven Archers have hand weapons and longbows. Any unit can upgrade one model to a Sentinel for 5 points. A Standard Bearer or a Musician, so you can have full command. Any Elven Spearman can have the Shield Wall special rule to turn a fall back in good order into a push instead. Archers can take light armor for a point. 0 to 1 unit of Spearmen per 1,000 points can replace Valor of the Ages with Veteran and purchase a Magic Standard worth up to 50 points. And then same for the Archers. They can 1 per 1,000 points can do the same. Spearmen get Close Order, Elven Reflexes, Martial Prowess, Regimental Unit, and Valor of the Ages. And Elven Archers get Close Order Detachment, Elven Reflexes, and Valor of the Ages. So you can take the Archers as detachments for the Spearmen, which is kind of cool. And the minimum unit size is only 5+. Now the Sea Guard, which are once again an Island of Blood thing. If you have that starter set, you probably have a pile of these. On 25 by 25s, they get hand weapons, spears, bows, and light armor. They can all take shields for a point. They are, again, core Elven stat lines, so weapon skill 4, bliss skill 4, initiative 4, leadership 8. They get Close Order, Reflexes, Martial Prowess, Naval Discipline, and Valor of the Ages. Now, Naval Discipline is a unit of Sea Guard may use this special rule when they make a stand and shoot attack, or sorry, a charge reaction. A unit that does so can make a stand and shoot charge reaction regardless of how close the charging unit is. And once this shooting has been resolved, the charged unit will make a free redress the ranks maneuver, after which it will hold and await the charging unit. Units that are fleeing, that are already engaged in combat when charged, or have been joined by a character that does not have the special, cannot use it. So a very defensive unit. Again, a good, if you're able to use Elementalism, which these guys are, a good candidate for the Earthen Rampart spell. White Lions. They got Creation Warriors, Elven Reflexes, King's Guard, Lion Cloak, Move Through Cover, Open Order, Stubborn, and Valor of the Ages. So Elven Reflexes is important. It means that because they have great weapons, their Creation Great Blade, they have Strike Last. They're initiative 1, but first round of combat, they're initiative 2, and if they charged, they're adding a potential 3 more to be initiative 5. So they're still no joke, even though they have great weapons when they charge. It'll be the unit afterwards. They get a little bit slower. Special rules, Creation Warriors. You've got Elven Reflexes, King's Guard, Lion Cloak, Move Through Cover, Open Order, Stubborn, and Valor of the Ages. Creation Warriors is a unit with this special rule, may only be joined by your army's general or by a character with the Creation Hunter Elven Honor. And then King's Guard, any model in this unit can issue and accept a challenge like it was a character if it's been joined by your general. And if you leave, then the general, you lose this ability too. Swordmasters, Cleaving Blow. So Cleaving Blow is like a Killing Blow, except it doesn't take away all the remaining wounds. So natural sword is 6 to wound. It's struck a Cleaving Blow. Enemy models whose troop type are regular infantry, heavy infantry, regular cavalry, heavy cavalry, war beasts don't get armor regeneration, but you can still make a ward. And then deflect shots, you still get your Jedi knock the arrows out of the air with your swords. You get a 6+ ward save against any wounds suffered from a non-magical shooting attack. And then finally, Warriors of the White Tower. A unit with this special rule may only be joined by a High Elf Mage or by a character with the Warden of Safri or Lore Master Elven Honors. And they're still weapon skill 6, initiative 6. Man, they're great. And their swords are great too. They get strength 5 with them. Phoenix Guard, still scary because they don't talk. They cost fear. Blessing of Azurian, Close Order, Elven Reflexes, Fear, Martial Prowess, Veteran, and Witness to Destiny. This unit has a 6+ ward save against any wounds suffered by a non-magical enemy attack. So not quite the 4+ ward save of yesteryear, but still pretty cool. They got halberds, ceremonial halberds that also kind of spear space because they're not charging, and full plate. Weapon skill 5, strength 3, toughness 3, initiative 5, and leadership 9. Full command. I can buy a 100-point magic standard and buy drilled for a point as well per model. Shadow warriors. These are your skirmishers. So Elven reflexes, evasive, fire and flee, Ulthuan weapons, move through cover, scout, skirmishers, veteran, and warriors of Nagaryth. Unit with this special rule may only be joined by characters with the Shadow Stalker Elven honor. Weapon skill 5, they're your rangers. Longbows and light armor, and for 0 to 1 unit in your army, you can have ambushers, chariot runners, or feigned flight for a point per model. Scissors of Avalorn. They are the souped up version of the Shadow Warriors. They get Bows of Avalorn, and they have Arrows of Isha, evasive, ignore cover, immune to psychology, Ulthuan armor, Ulthuan weapons, open order, skirmishers, and strike first. Strike first is bananas, the initiative 10. And they can buy ambusher or stubborn as well. Stubborn's interesting on a unit of skirmishers. Illyrian Reavers, another of the starter set models from previous years, so there's a good amount of them floating out there, but they're on 30 by 60s now. Hand weapon, cavalry spears, and light armor. They can take short bows, or they can replace their cavalry spears with short bows. So you can either pay extra for them or just have them. And it's nice to have that option because there are older miniatures that just have bows. You can buy full command, and up to 1 unit per 1,000 points can have scouts, skirmishers, or a magic stand up to 25 points. They have reflexes, fast cav, open order, swift stride, and valor of the ages. And then your silver helms. These are heavy cav. It means that they only have to have 4 models per rank to get a rank bonus. And they get hand weapons, lances, and heavy armor. They can take shields for 1 point per model, but they don't have to have shields, which is an interesting choice. You get your full command, and they can buy a 25-point magic banner. You get close order, elven reflexes, first charge, Ulthuan bombarding, swift stride, and valor of the ages. Makes them very fast on the charge. And then dragon princes with your 2 attacks. It's kind of like your Grail Knights. Still only strength 3 though. Hand weapon, lances, full plate, and shields, and that's going to give them a 2+ save. Full commands, magic banner up to 50 points, and can be given a magic item on the Drake Master for 50 points as well. Special rules, they have close order, counter charge, dragon armor, drilled, elven reflexes, first charge, impetuous, Ulthuan bombarding, Ulthuan weapons, sons of Cawdor, swift stride, and valor of the ages. Drilled means they can't be march blocked and get a free redress to the ranks, which is very cool. Unit with this special rule can only be joined by your army's general or by a character with the Blood of Cawdor Elven armor. And then Tyrannok and Lion Chariots. The big difference between the two of them, obviously the Lion Chariot's a bit slower. They're both on 50 by 100s. You only get a single Lion Chariot, but you can have up to 4 Tyrannok Chariots in a unit. They get hand weapons, cavalry spears, and longbows. Elven reflexes, impact hits D6, open order, quick shot, swift stride, and valor. You get lion cloaks in the Lion Chariot, and they also get fear. And then the lion itself gets to fight, which is very cool. It's strength 5. The 2 war lions are strength 4, sorry, with 2 attacks each. And they can be taken as mounts. The Sky Cutter, heavy chariot, 60 by 100 mil base. Hand weapons, cavalry spears, and short bows. They get wicked claws, close order, fear, fly, 10. Elven reflexes for the Sea Guard crew only, and then impact hits D3+1, swift stride, and valor. You can take an Eagle Eye Bolt Thrower on it for 25 extra points. It's a multiple wounds D3 cumbersome, strength 5 -3, 24-inch range gun, and of course it can also be a mount if you've got the honor. And then finally the Griffin gives you +2 toughness, which is really nice. The Dragon gives you +3 because you're weedy, so you don't lose out on only having the +1 bonus most of the armies have. And then equipment is Wicked Claws, Serrated Maw, and a Griffonic Pelt for heavy armor. Close order, fly 9, large target, stomp attacks D3, swift stride, and terror. They can make one attack, it has to be made with their Serrated Maw, which is armor bade 2 and multiple wounds 2. But you can only include a Griffin in your army as a character's mount. Can't take them by themselves. And the dragons, so the different dragons. The baby dragons for the Sun Dragon and the Moon Dragon are +2 to your toughness, but the Star Dragon gives you +3 for a sweet toughness of 6 and 6 extra wounds. They're on 60 by 100 mil bases, which is bigger than the old one. And then they have Wicked Claws, Dragon Fire, Draconic Scales, they count as full plate. They've all got close order, they've all got fly 10. The Sun Dragon's impetuous, they've all got large target, they've all got stomp attacks D6, whereas the Star Dragon gets +1, and then swift stride and terror. You get Dragon Fire, which is a strength 4 breath weapon with flaming attacks. The Flamespire Phoenix, the 2 Phoenixes. So They can be taken as mounts. If they're a mount, you get +2 to your toughness, +3 wounds, and then the same core stat line. But if taken by themselves, they get Blessings of Azurian, Close Order, Fear, Flaming Attacks, Fly 10, From the Ashes, Large Target, Stomp Attack 2, Swift Stride, and Wake of Fire. So From the Ashes is when they die, roll a d6 before you remove it. On a 1 to 2, it turns cold and is removed from play. On a 3 to 5, it explodes into flame. Every enemy unit in base contact takes D3 Strength 3 hits with an AP of -1, and the Flaming Attack special rule. And that's removed from play. And on a 6, it's briefly consumed by a ball of flame and reborn, recovering D3 wounds. And then finally, the Wake of Fire. This model can perform a Wake of Fire attack against a single enemy unit it's not engaged in combat with. To do so, the model must move flying over top of it. Once complete, the unit takes D6 Strength 4 hits, each with an AP of -1 with the Flaming Attack special rules. And then it's in combat, it has an AP of -2 for its Strength 5 attacks. All right, that Frostheart Phoenix, this guy's the tough one. He's weapon skill 6, strength toughness 6. A bit slower with initiative 3 and only 4 attacks. He's on a 50 by 100. He's got his full plate armor and wicked claws, same as the other one. And it's got Blizzard Aura. Whilst in base contact with this model, enemy models subject to strike last. He doesn't come back to life though. And he gets +3 toughness if he's a mount and +3 wounds. The Great Eagle, 50 by 50, classic. He's got 3 attacks now instead of 2 though, 3 wounds, strength toughness 4, weapon skill 5. He can fly 10, causes fear, close order, stomp attacks 1, and swift stride. And he gets to make one of his attacks with the Serrated Maw for armor bane 2 and multiple wounds 2. What a glow up for the Great Eagle. And then finally your bolt throwers. It's a repeater bolt thrower. It's got hand weapon and light armor. It's got Elven reflexes, valor, and skirmishers. And this repeater bolt thrower is now in the core rules. And that's it. So your magic items are the only thing we haven't gone through yet. And there's some real bangers and classics in here. The White Sword, it is a +3 strength, -2 AP, magic attacks, monster slayer, requires 2 hands and strikes last. But you can only take infantry or chariot models to have it. Blade of Leaping Gold, it's got extra attacks D3, armor bane 2, and magical attacks. The Reaver Bow, counts the Bow of Avalorn. The wielder of the Reaver Bow may make a number of shooting attacks equal to their attack characteristic and no modifiers for multiple shots. It's strength +1. And then Foebane, it's a magic attack at your user's strength. When the wielder of Foebane makes a roll to wound, a roll of 4 points is always a success regardless of the target's toughness. Armor of Calidor, it's full plate with a 5+ ward. Dragon Helm, you can improve other armor with it by 1. In addition, you have a 6+ ward save against any wounds with flaming attacks. Talismans, the Lore Master's Cloak gives you a 4+ ward against any magic missiles. And the Opal Amulet gives you a 2+ ward save against a single wound, but it's only a single use. Magic Standard, the Banner of Arcane Protection. The unit with the Banner of Arcane Protection gets magic resistance -3. In addition, friendly units within 6 get -1 magic resistance. So it's like kind of the old Banner of the World Dragon kind of protection-y stuff. The Battle Banner, when calculating combat results, you get D3 extra result points, so it's +D3. Lion Standard, you automatically pass Fear and Terror tests. And the Banner of Illyrian, you get moved through cover. Enchanted items, the Nullstone. Whilst within the command range of the bearer, all wizards, friend or foe, are -1 to casting and dispel rolls, because it's sucking the magic out of the air. In addition, during the command subphase of their turn, if they are not engaged in combat, this character may attempt to use the Nullstone to make a leadership test. If this test is passed until the next start of turn subphase, this character cannot be targeted by any spells and is immune to the effects of any spells. The Cloak of Beards. Oh man, so, I love that that's still a magic item. They cause terror. However, it's so unnerving is the cloak that models cannot use this wearer's leadership. Because you're wearing a cloak of human beards or dwarf beards. Oh god, I love it. That's still there. Seed Rebirth, 20 points. It's a regenerate 5+. Arcane items, the Sigil of Azurian for your wizard. Single use, a wizard may use this item instead of making it a spell attempt. It's just auto-dispelled with no roll. But note that a perfect invocation cannot be dispelled. So if you do that at ultimate power, you can't dispel it still. An Annullian Crystal. Once per turn, upon successfully casting a spell, the bearer of the Annullian Crystal can choose to forget that spell and immediately generate another one, not including signature spells in the usual manner. And then Silver Wand. The bearer of the Silver Wand knows one more spell chosen as normal from the Lore of Wizardry. So they don't increase their wizard level, but remember, you get to cast all the spells you know. So knowing additional spell is really powerful in this edition. And then let's look at your signature spells, the Lore of Safri. So remember, You generate your spells randomly equal to your wizard level, and +1 if you take that magic item. And then you can trade any of your spells down for one of your signatures. You'll have your lore signature from the lore you generated from, and then these count as all signature spells too. So Hand of Cain, it's an assailment spell, so it works in combat, 8+. A single enemy model the casters engage with suffers a strength 4 hit with no armor saves, but you can make ward regenerations. The Courage of Anarian, it's an enchantment, casts on 10+, range 15. Remains in play. While the spell's in play, the target friendly unit gains the Unbreakable special rule. If it's cast, any other enchantments will immediately expire. And you can cast it on a friendly unit in combat. Vol's Unmaking on an 11+, a classic High Elf spell. Range 12 inches, the spell can only target enemy characters. However, it may target enemy characters that are within range and that the character can draw a line of sight to, regardless of the usual rules for targeting characters, even if they're in units. The casting player chooses a single magic item carried by the target. It is immediately unmade and completely useless and cannot be used for the rest of the game. So you have access to a bunch of other lores, including battle magic. Battle magic's kind of the all-comers. Like, if you're going to play this game for the first time, probably the easiest one to use. Hammer Hand, if you're engaged, it's a assailment, so 7+ if you're engaged in combat. A single enemy unit that you're engaged with takes 2d3 strength 4 hits with a -2 AP. It's very handy. Fireball for a magic missile on an 8+. It's 2d6 strength 4 hits with flaming and an AP of dash. Curse of Arrow Attraction, very handy for shooting units, or shooting armies in general, so the High Elves actually would benefit from this one. As do the Wood Elves. It's a hex on an enemy unit on a 7+. Range of 21, you can reroll 1s to hit against that unit with shooting. Pillar of Fire, this one's neat. It's a big dangerous terrain, 3-inch blast, it's a magical vortex. Cast on a 9+ in a range of 12 inches. The whole of the template has to be within 12 rather. It moves in a direction of your choice, d6 inches at the start of every start of turn subphase. Any unit, friend or foe it moves over takes d3+3 hits at strength 3 with an AP of -2 and flaming attacks. Arcane Urgency, you get to move again during a turn on a 10+ with a range of 15. It's a conveyance. Oaken Shield, a 5+ ward. For your caster and any unit they've joined. And then Curse of Cowardly Flight, you have to target enemy unit, and if they make a panic test, they might flee. If they automatically pass panic test, they still have to make it or give ground. That's a hex on a 9+. Now you also have access to Elementalism. You get Storm Call. It's a hex on a 7+ with a 12-inch range. You get a -1 to movement and initiative characteristic for the target enemy unit. Flaming Sword is an assailment on an 8+ in combat. A single enemy unit the caster's engaged with takes d6 +1 strength 3 hits with AP of dash and flaming attacks. Again, I feel like the battle magic one's better. Plague Arrest, 9+ hex on a 21-inch range. You get -2 to their armor value for an enemy unit. You can cast it on a unit engaged in combat too. Summon Elemental Spirit. This one's cool. It's kind of like a smoke template. It's a small 3-inch blast template with the center within 15. It's a 9+ to cast. While in play, the template is treated as dangerous terrain and no line of sight can be drawn through it. The template moves d6 in a random direction, and any enemy unit that the template touches or moves over suffers d3+3 strength 4 with an AP of -1. Now for your defending units, Earthen Rampart's kind of cool. I don't know if the High Elf army is as into this one though, because you have a lot of units that want to move, and you can't charge or march while this is on. But it's an enchantment with a 10+ to cast and a range of 15. Until your next start of turn subphase, the target unit gains a 5+ ward against any wound suffered and counts as being in a defended low linear obstacle if charged. So cool defensive unit. Good late game for sure. Wind Blast, this one's cool too. D3+3 strength 5 hits with AP of -1. And then once resolved, you have to give ground. You gotta move away from it. And then Travel a Mystical Pathway. It's a 10+ conveyance. If the target friendly unit's not fleeing and has not already moved this turn, you can pick it up and put it anywhere within 12 of its current location, but not within 6 of the enemy, and it can't move again. And then High Magic. So this is the sort of High Elf lore. I think they're the only ones currently that have access to it. You can drain magic as a hex. It's cast on a 9+. Self remains in play. While the spell's in play, enemy wizards within 24 of the caster must increase the casting value of their spells by 2. So like an 11 would become a 13, a 7 would become a 9. Walk Between Worlds, a conveyance. Cast on a 10+, it's range self until the next start of turn subphase. The caster and any unit they've joined gain ethereal and reserve move. Fiery Convocation, it's a magic missile cast on 10 with a range of 18. Place a large 5-inch blast template so that its central hole is directly over the center of the target enemy unit. Once placed, it scatters D3+1. Any enemy model whose base lies underneath the template's final position is risking as being hit, like a stone thrower, and suffers a strength 4, AP -2 hit with flaming attacks. Tempest, this is a magical vortex. Cast on a 9+, range of 12, remains in play. Place a small 3-inch blast template so its central hole is within 12 of the caster. While it's in play, the template does not move and is treated as dangerous terrain, and while within 6 of the template, enemy units treat open as difficult ground and difficult terrain as dangerous. It's a cool way of making the battlefield very hostile. Corporeal Unmaking. This is an assailment, so we have to use it in combat. Casting value of 8+. A single enemy unit the casters engage with takes D3 strength 5 hits with no armor or regeneration save, but you can make wards. Fury of Cain. It's an enchantment with a 9+. Range of 12. Until the end of the turn, the target friendly unit gains extra attacks +1, and this spell may be target a friendly unit engaged in combat. Interesting, that used to be your magic missile. And then Shield of Sapphire on a 9+, an enchantment. Until the end of this turn, the target friendly unit has a 5+ ward save against any wound suffered. And if the spell is cast, the effect of any other previous enchantments previously cast immediately expires. So like, that's why you don't really need elementalism. Earthen Ramparts is a worse version of Shield of Sapphire because you can still move in charge and stuff with that on. High Magic's pretty legit, but you can also take illusions. It's an illusion, Michael. Glittering Robes is an enchantment on an 8+. Ranges self until your start of turn subphase. Enemy units suffer a -1 modifier to any rolls to hit made against the caster and any unit they've joined. If the spell is cast, the effects of other enchantments previously on them expire. You get Mind Razor. Now it's a magic missile. It used to be an enchantment. Cast on a 7+, range of 15. The target enemy unit must immediately make a leadership test, and if it's passed, it suffers D3 strength 3 hits with an AP of dash. If failed, however, D3 strength 3 hits, D3 plus 3 strength 4 hits, each with an AP of -3. So real good against certain units. Shimmering Dragon, Conveyance with an 8+ to cast and a range of 12. This spell can only target friendly characters. If the target friendly character is not fleeing and is not already moved, they gain Fly 10 and special until the end of the turn. You don't have a lot of lone heroes probably in this army, so I don't know how useful that would be. A Column of Crystal. I like this one. It's just a 5-inch impassable, no line of sight piece of terrain on a 10+. It's a magical vortex. Place the middle within 9. Confounding Convocation. It's a hex on a 9+ with a range of 9. Remains in play. While the spell's in play, the target enemy unit becomes subject to stupidity. Spectral Doppelganger. It's an assailment on a 9+ for range combat. A single enemy unit the caster is engaged in combat with suffers 2d6 hits, resolved using the characteristics and special rules of the caster and any weapon they carry. That would be, if you could pick a spell, that'd be a cool one for your Lore Master. And then Miasmic Mirage. It's a hex on an 11, range 15 until your start of turn subphase. The target enemy unit suffers -2 to its movement characteristic and cannot march or charge. If this spell is cast, the effect of any other hex immediately expires. That's a really cool spell. It can lock down a unit. If they can't charge, then they might just not be in combat if you can keep it going. And that's it. So what an interesting list. I love that all the old stuff's back. I really like the old High Elf range, especially all the old Jez Goodwin High Elf miniatures. I have a lot of the old plastics, and I had all of the old Island of Blood miniatures, and I gave them to Owen to make an AOS army out of, and I deeply regret it now. I wish I could get my hands on some of these models, because I love, the newer plastics were really cool, although I'd love to get if I do this army, I probably won't anytime soon, because I'm going to start with Empire and Bretonnians and Dwarves, but for my Gagarin armies, but I'll probably end up trying to collect the old Jez Goodwin miniatures. I have a smattering of old Island of Blood stuff, but if anyone's got an Island of Blood rotting that they're not doing anything with, hit me up. And that's it. I'll look at the High Elves and a complete breakdown of all of the forces of fantasy. I hope you enjoyed that. You can go up in the cards or check out the rest of the playlist to see all the armies that we went through today. Maybe next week or the week after, I'll go through the armies of Legend, but they're Legend. They're not going to be supported by miniatures. They're for people that already have them. I might just do the Ogres because they're my favorites. And I have a bunch of Dark Elf stuff too, but they're not going to get expanded upon. So they're not part of this story. So while I think they're cool, they'll be playable and stuff like that, I'm really focusing on the stuff that's going to get new models, going to get arcane journals, and that in the beginning. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews. Till next time, MASH. Have a great gaming.